Well, hello my friends. Here I am. Today is the day of all days. A very, very special day. I have a good friend who drove all the way from Connecticut just to come and see me live. Alright, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. But I have a fan, Kuzia, who came to visit. And but not only he came to visit, he brought me a gift of all gifts. My own plaque that he made. Rebel Turner with a turner backwards. I mean, just amazing. And today I'm going to see, maybe give Tom a hands-on practice on a couple of pieces. Come over here. A couple of things. Now, not only did he bring me this, he brought me some real challenge. I think he wanted to see if what I do on TV is actually reality, because he brought me a piece over here that's going to be the piece of pieces. Now, he brought me this beautiful piece of yew. Very, very dry. I don't know how old this is, or at least Tom believes it's yew. I've never had the pleasure of turning yew. I also brought me a nice piece of crabapple. Crabapple, am I correct, Tom?
Yep.
A nice crotch of crabapple that will be something for later on, and I will give Tom credit when I do that. Now, I'm being kind of put on the spot with this one, because I look at it and sometimes it takes me a week before it clicks in on what that is inside that piece. And I'm looking at this piece and I'm thinking, no matter what, I have to do some modifications to be able to get it onto the lathe. And I'm thinking that the bottom, this crotch area, yeah, I could cut it and make a nice bowl catching the crotch area, but I don't think that's the direction I want to go. What I think I want to do is I want to cut off this crotch that you see here, so I can mount it on my lathe and just screw up this top and create a natural vase coming down, capturing some of the detail that's going through here. So, bandsaw, let's get started and do some surgery.
Don't cut the plaque out.
No way. No way.
The Rebel Turner with a live audience.
That's right. All I wanted to do is get a clean spot where I can put my spur drive on one end and start doing something with this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, actually, this way. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a tenon over here so I can mount it up on my jaw and somewhat screw it up and start working on it. Then I will actually do a reverse on this to clean up the inside of this. I'll create a tenon on both ends on this particular case. So Tom, how long did it take you to get here from
3 days.
Oh,
And
you're a slow driver,
I
man.
was sick when we left, so it was the ride from hell. Oh,
Really?
Terrible.
Yeah, that stinks. So this is going to be the top of the vase, and this is going to shape down. So this area right here, this split, you know, we're going to lose that. For me to do it out of here, then it's what it's going to do. It would create this edge and come really deep on this side, and I don't want to lose what's over here. The way I'm looking at it, and by the time I get this going, this will create some real natural edge interest, and I will show the natural wood without being interfered all the way down for the mouth of the vase. Now Tom wants to perhaps get a view on my sharpening techniques as well. Now, when I'm doing something like this, I'm burying it pretty much. I don't bang it with a mallet. I mean, if I give it a little pound, that's fine, but quite a bit of pressure. Wiggle it. If I need to, I'll lock my tailstock in and actually wiggle it a little bit so the teeth of the spur starts digging in. Give it a couple more cranks. Now, the good thing about this method, and a lot of people might have reservations on this, is you know, that you don't have to worry about whether if you are in the best possible position or not. You can wiggle it if you need to make some adjustment. If you're using a faceplate, you put it on, that's it. Your faceplate determines what it's going to be and its shape. Now, this thing, even if it came loose a little bit, because of the way it's wedged, it would be almost impossible for it actually to come out of the lid. But this, I can tell that it's going to be a rough start of the turning, because the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be coming up in this direction to get rid of this chunk. I literally could cut it off with a saw, just it's not there, but I'm going to clean it up clean enough. And as one thing to be aware is that when you come out this way, don't forget that these wings over here protrude. So if you're coming up deep, you literally have to be coming out with the piece of wood, so you're not surprised all of a sudden and catch a pretty nasty catch on that particular area. Going to start off with my Hurricane standard gouge, and gonna go in here from the right side back and work this out and start shaping this up so it becomes somewhat of a wide mouth and concave to about this point right here, and then make the 10. I might even make the 10 and not make one here, depending on how it's going, and just put it up into the my chuck right with this tendon back here. We'll see how that goes. Speed, start it off slow. I'm going at 570 RPMs, roughly. One coming in. Feel very slowly of what's going on with the piece of wood. Get a feel for where you are from your tool rest and your tip as to how aggressive you're hitting something before you go in and gouge it. Go easy, feel the piece, and this piece will definitely have some pieces that will scoot out. I really do not mean to, I must be distracted or not thinking very clear. I did not want to be hitting anything up on this top edge because I want to maintain the whatever the shapes are over here. So I didn't want to do that, but that's not going to be the end of the world. I'm going to focus on just actually throwing it up roughly from here on down and not to hit that again. The lathe has reversed, and it doesn't cut on reverse from this end. So, gonna leave that top edge alone. Sneak my way in until I start feeling it. That's it. And just work it from here on down. I'm just working the top edge to get rid of that branch. Start seeing what the shape is and start developing. Tom, do you need a chair? I got a chair. No, I got a chair out there though.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're fine. But,
I stand all day now.
by all means, you're welcome to stand up and come and take a close look as to what's happening. This is going to have some amazing grain, I already know that, and from seeing other people turning new, I am without a doubt that this actually is what it is. Once I get through this, most of this stump is going to disappear, so I can hit some solid wood and through this up over here. But I want to get rid of this area because no matter what, it can't stay as part of the decor. Make yourself at home, Tom. Something like this will probably, to beginning to end, will probably take me 3 hours to do. So, let's see. Now I'm going to start working towards the tail end so I can actually start making a tenon over here. And now I'm not trying to be pretty with these cuts. I'm just trying to rough through it and get the majority of it into a round shape on this area. So I have to go a little bit more here, but not much. But I want to catch up to this high edge that's over here. If you get a catch like that, the best thing to do is keep your tool in the place and don't jerk it off. Stop your lathe with it while it's still being held, rather than you not knowing what's going to happen with the piece. It just needs a little bit more pressure in there. I'm still in the same location that I started off with. I have not lost it over there. And this will take about 10 minutes prior to me being able to be somewhat round, more manageable over there. Now, you seeing what I'm doing as far as with the tool and the angle?
Yeah.
I always have my flute going in the direction that I'm going, and I'm relying somewhat on the back of the heel a little bit, so I'm not just going directly with the tip. So that way you have a little bit of control to just go easy through it. If it starts jumping too much, just straighten it out a little bit. This is definitely not like cutting greenwood, no, where you can plow through it and get some good size shavings. This is not going to happen with this piece. Tom, you want to take a shot at it? Got another face shield, or you can put mine on?
That's
Tom.
right.
Let me see what you got. Okay, Tom. Bring your back. First of all, don't, I don't know if necessary over the top, but even if over the top, keep your forehand a little closer to your tool rest, and just turn it up about 45 degrees, and keep a firm grip on the back. Usually, if you're getting too much bounce, just back off a little bit. Don't be so aggressive. You're being a little bit too aggressive. You're maintaining on the same top. Turn it upright a little bit. Upright. Upright. A little bit more. A little bit more upright. Okay, I'm going to stop it for a second, and let's see if I can see what it is that you're doing while you're getting a little bit bounced and not advancing so much. I think it might be that fact that you are holding it too straight on. Come back from a little bit further back and use the tip, just the very tip, and not too much of the blunt of the whole tool coming up. But if you start feeling too much bounce in one particular area, just back up a little bit and go lighter cuts.
Lighter cuts.
Okay? The harder you go, this is a tough wood to get started. But if you have battling it too much like this, just turn it back slightly and just use the very tip of this gouge a little bit. Sneak it in slow, Tom. There you go. Don't fight it. The idea is keep the tool. There you go. All okay. Turn it upright, the flute upright a little bit more. To be a little bit more aggressive on the top, but not necessarily forcing the top. Just blow it. Blow it easy. There you go. Grab it again. Okay? Yep. If you look at that, and I will show you, because looking from different angles you can see. If you're looking from back there, your flute, or the back, was pretty much right parallel where you were riding it, pretty much. So just give yourself a little bit of room in between. If you don't feel the cut, like I am right now, just back it up and turn it a little bit. But follow the same rule. When I start getting bounce, I don't keep forcing it. I lighten up on the pressure and just let the tool make the cut.
Yeah.
Okay? So from back here, whether if you're holding it down low or a little bit higher, I don't think that has much relevance. It's how the angle of the tool is approaching. If I go like this, it's guaranteed that I would be a bad catch if you get a catch. Yeah, but if you go like this, you just follow. Now, we're going to continue with this, and I'm already getting pretty much to where I can make a tenon. And like I said, this is going to be beautiful. I got to come up all the way from here on down. And this will make somewhat of a fairly wide mouth vase. I wish I hadn't done that, but you know, this is not lost in any way. Usually this is the technique I use. I never go towards the top edge. When I'm doing something that's a vase of any type or any natural edge, the last thing I want to do is hit that top edge at any point. It always starts from further back, and I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe it's being nervous, the fact that you're here.
A live audience.
Yeah, could very well be it. But this is going to be an amazing, amazing piece of wood. So Tom, you want to continue?
No, you go ahead. I'd rather watch.
Now, it's a little bit lighter in weight. I'm going to speed it up to somewhat where Tom is not bouncing out of the shaft yet. No, he's still stuck here. Only worry about your final cuts is towards the end. At this point, there's no need for you to try to be refined or you know or neat with it. You just want to get to where you need it to be. Now, one thing is this area right here is fairly deep, and if I did, let's say, the vase already somewhat like this, I would end up with a hole coming up through here. And I don't want to do that. So rather than having that happen, what I want to do, because the piece is developing now and you're seeing what's going to happen, is I'm going to really offset the piece on my spur drive and bring this section away from the closer to where it's going to be, a little closer to my tool rest, so it leaves a little bit more wood possibility on this side. And I could be wrong as that being the best possible option as well. But I want to maintain this area right here fairly. And because I'm a little thin, what will happen is once I make my tenon, it will be just a little further up. So what's going to happen is I'm going to be taking quite a bit from this area right here, as you can see, because that's the closest point. But not even touching that. And I'm fairly close to this point right here, where before this area used to be exactly the opposite, used to be all the way to where my finger is. So everything has shifted over. I would love to see shifted a little bit more, but I'm fairly close over here. I don't think I can get that. I'm going to leave it like this. Slow it down since I threw it off axis again. that branch should still be, well, it's gone, so don't have to worry about that branch anymore. So that's okay. So if I left it like this, I know what would be happening. This would be pretty much the edge of the piece. I'm going to go, and right now, even if I took it all the way down, if I left it just a little thick, you can see that that hole would not be playing. The only thing that would be playing would be the outside shape of the piece. It would have this indent, which would look awesome, and that's pretty much the area that it's going to stay. So these checkings that you see going through here, these veins, and the swirl going around this shape is going to maintain, that's going to be part of the character of the piece. Basically, right now it's just refined a little bit, and like I said, this will be the design of the piece to somewhere around here. It's not going to come all the way down, but somewhere around here, that's where it's going to refine this edge. And you understand that, right? You can see that.
Yeah.
It's obvious what this shape is depending on how thick I make it from the inside. So right now, like I said, going to true it up and going to make my tenon. My tenon, I'm just going to use an old 1/8" parting tool just to true up this piece a little bit, and then I'll use my diamond tool to finalize my tenon. Now the only reason why I'm taking down that center a little bit further is because it will bottom out if I leave that on, but if it's thin enough it will go inside the opening from your shaft, basically. Oh. And for my tenon, this is what I use all the time to establish the shape, because it's less than 90 degrees, so it will give me an acute and the same angle basically that I got there. You can use a skew, you can use a lot of stuff, but this is what I use. I'm not ready to do live shows yet.
I like this a lot better than YouTube, though.
Well, why is that, Tom?
Well, you get to actually see it, you know? You see everything, the shop, the lathe, the man.
That's good.
And the smile.
There you go. That's half of it.
That's all of it.
All right, so even though I'm on it, you know, I put it on the jaws, I'm still not gonna go crazy and why turn it without your live center?
Oh yeah.
Keep it in there as long as you can. There will be a time, and it will come soon enough, where you don't have an option but to take it out. You feel that rumble?
Yeah.
That's the shake that tells me it's time to stop. Let's see if that cleaned it up any on the top.
Yeah, it did.
Okay?
You reached it.
Push cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, you push cut downhill. If I was making a push cut from this end, let's say, then I'd be going uphill, lifting up the fibers. But this way it's going in
Cut 'em right
and
off.
press it right down. Okay? Got a couple of tool marks still going through here, ridges and stuff of that sort, that I'm not too crazy about, but it's almost inherent with that type of a tool. And when you still have a piece that's off balance like this,
shaking like
where it's shaking. So once I lighten it up from inside and start working this out, that should alleviate a lot of that. It's time to do a little bit of hollowing. And when you got something like this, long. I mean, there's a couple of rules. One is drill it out from the center and work it from inside out, and that makes life a lot easier. Also, if you have a steady rest, I'm not saying you have to have one, but if you have a steady rest when you're doing vases, it's kind of a huge plus. If it fits.
I need a bigger lathe.
You? What size lathe do you have, Tom?
10 inch.
10 inch? Oh
It's
yeah, that's small, yeah.
Delta mini lathe.
Yeah, that's a small lathe. The reason why I'm getting this bounce is because I still have this void over here, so every time I pass this over that wheel, it doesn't hit until it hits the cut. But I need to stay out here towards the end of the vase somewhat, so I don't lose it completely. I could actually come up to this point right here, which is round. It's got a little bit less of a void than where I'm at right now, so I'm gonna sneak it up a little bit more. And the further you are at the front edge of the piece, the easier it is on your work. The steadier it stays. My TV decided to go black and white yesterday. It's the modern black and white television.
Yeah, I grew up with black and white.
Yeah, join the club. Me too.
Now we get 400 channels and there's nothing to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Now when drilling, slow down the lathe. Work it with a gouge, going almost parallel top and bottom. A slight bit of an adjustment depending on how the cut is going. I keep my handle down and just pull it out all the way, always from the center. If I go in here like this is going to be a heck of a cut because it's end grain. But when you, it's almost like you're doing spindle turning again, because everything is already released and you're not going directly into the end, the blunt of the wood. So this is the method that I use for hollowing out 99% of the time. Go as fast as you can without being in danger. Approach it nice and easy, just a tip, and start establishing what kind of a cut you get. Then you can keep sneaking it in. Don't go too aggressive because you're going to get that rumble sound, rattle all the time. I'm going to make sure my tailstock is tight enough. I will always get some rumble on this, no matter what. And a good sharp tool goes a long ways with this. Keep your handle way back. Find what's the sweetest where the easiest cut is going, whether if you're going this way or make a slight adjustment, bringing up the angle slightly up, and you'll find it. Tom, you ready to tackle this?
No. I think it was 3 shot.
Yeah,
That looks tough.
it's a little bit hard on this wood. Now, I know my edge is not too bad, but with this wood, it's I'm struggling a little bit, getting a little bit of vibration on it. I'm going to give this a quick sharpening as well. As soon as I get in deep enough where I'm behind the rollers, that shadow is going to disappear, but until then it's going to be like that. You can tell that my wood has not established itself yet since I remodeled the new shop. I did decided to walk a little bit. But this is definitely going to be, I'm anxious to get out here now. This starts seeing the shape, right? See, if you go nice and easy, even with something like this, and you're not forcing it, and you're letting the tool just do its work, you can do that. Get a feel for this. Get your arm close to the tool rest and use the tool rest as your friend. Keep the bevel somewhat coming in the direction. Once you feel it, if you come up like this, and you feel that you're not getting any cut, just turn it a little bit and just follow it. Keep your arm close to the... Turn the flute towards you more. You're being a little bit too aggressive with the flute facing straight up. There you go. Then you can always roll it back if you're not getting enough of a cut. And just follow. Don't be too hard on it. Nice and easy. You got it. You've had enough?
Yep. I want to watch a pro.
You can do it from upright, but if I'm doing that, like against what I just told you to do, I am just using the tip. I'm trying not to get too aggressive. But this way, it's always a safe turning. You can sink in and out. Okay? So when you see me doing something like this, it's because I'm relying just on the tip of the tool doing the job, and I'm pushing down on the handle. But you have to have a feel. You gotta get the feel. If you are fighting it too much, just ease off and find that sweet spot where it wants to be. And just pull it. Don't never be in a rush to get it done. It will get done, and the easier you go sometimes, that's the fastest route to get to get it complete. Now we are going to be here pretty soon. We're just about there, so I want to see if I can speed this up a little bit. That was too fast. But you can see what happens when something like this comes off.
Drop right down.
And you know, you're in between something like this. Now if you're free floating this would swing way out. This end would swing way up. It would stop a lot. Perhaps a little bit too fast for this piece right now. I actually lost a tenon, so you know what? When you get something like that, it's not the end of the world. You still got a mark there, you have a chuck here, you have plenty of options to fix that. You don't have to rely on coming back in here with like, oh my God, how am I going to attach it? That's the attachment right there. So if I open up the chuck a little bit and it just keeps it from wobbling, I'm fine. Still can maintain this in here because it doesn't matter. That's not what it's going to be used for, just to get it out of my way. In my life center. So bring it back in there. And I'm going to remake this tenon a little bit better than I did on this time. Good amount of pressure again. And it's true. There's nothing to be done with it, or trying to figure out if you're going to have to make something that is going to work. It can't come off the chuck. It's impossible for it to come off. So I'm going to remake that real quick. I'm going to do this up a little bit. And I'll be able to get a little bit deeper of a tenon with it this way. Unless I've been on standby, which I've done that before. The whole time. Well, release a little bit of the tension. How many times have you been down here, Tom? Florida. How many times have you been in here in Florida?
Oh, it's only our second winter.
Oh, it's the second one? I don't like this balance. I have to retrue this a little bit because of taking it off completely and coming up with the different settings on the on that. I'm really thank you. Should be true again.
Did you make that out?
Yeah.
I thought I saw a video on that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's different on this from everybody else's is the matter that I came up with this cam system that I think works really nice. And basically, I just took the idea from this and incorporated it into it. I hadn't seen anybody that had one of these cams, but everybody's got. And what I did different that I thought that I focused on was the matter that I put steel into wood. Everybody has it, and they have it on the arms on the outside.
Oh yeah.
Even if they make a notch, but it's always on the outside. And this one I wanted to embed it between the two pieces. And I got a piece of sheet metal on the side of the screw, so when it tightens up, the screw is not going into the
wood,
thing, and not going into this directly. It's just kind of putting pressure, positive pressure against it.
Bigger surface.
Yeah. So I'm always start getting wobbled. I mean, it's time to throw it up again. Maybe tighten up the chuck. And I'm using the rollers as the guide, where I'm offset. See if I can tighten it up slightly. Down chuck. But you can see that the profile is almost there, all the way through. This is that area that had that cut, which actually it's right here, which actually looks pretty good. Yeah. So just coming up, not much I have to do there. So at this point where I have to focus up, and I'll stop that, and I do this quite a bit, is because now it becomes almost, you have to guess a little bit. So sometimes I'll take a Sharpie and I'll mark my tool rest as to which area do I want to hit. I want to hit basically just here. So I don't want to come out here with it because I'm pretty thin already there. So it's a matter of concentrating on this area right here just to establish this a little bit thinner, and then I will thin up this area right here, which I got a little bit of a hump. But I can do that with just a little bit of shear scraping back and forth. Yeah. So this is the area that I'm still a little bit thicker right here. Basically this area right here. And I can still see that. When you're doing thin work and you got edges that are that thin, it's extremely crucial that you don't get aggressive. You don't turn your tool like that. It's almost
flat,
parallel with the work. And you're almost hitting top and bottom, and you're just going there nice and easy and get rid of any humps that you got. And you have to take care of the outside now, because as this thins out, it becomes more and more flex. See, and I'm just cutting with this back edge right about here of the tool. See it? Make small adjustments as you see me, as you need to. We have that knot right there. Let me see how bad. Oh my God. Yeah, yeah. This was the only area, and that was a surprise because I could not see that underneath. It was somewhat hidden. But I'm not going to give up on this piece because of this. I didn't expect that. That decay going all the way across. So this is a case where CA will come to the rescue on this. But there's no way that that piece would lose that character. But it's going to force the length of this turning a little bit longer. Oh, this is my fixie. Like I said, I'm still getting settled into this. There we go. So, but you know, when you get to these wings, it's impossible for you to really buff it with enough pressure. Always center. Still got my live point over there, no matter how pretty it's not. And if I needed to make a small adjustment on it, I would do that, but it always comes up fairly true.
Close. Yeah.
At least to work just the tail. As long as I'm not cutting out here, then you need to be as close as possible. But if you're just doing the bottom and concaving it, you got it pretty close and good there. So can use almost any tool, but if you go with something like this or the tool that I initially created, it's whatever I got close at hand that I know works. Or a little bowl gouge, that works as well. So even with something like this, I always work it out, then I have time to concave. If I don't trust that, I can read through this and recenter it again so I don't lose it, but I think I'll be fine. Something I do for decorating rings, I use the edge of my parting tool. So since I got something there that is not that likable, I'll use that. And that gives me a nice 3 rings. For my final cut, thing that I find that works the best is a skew. I'll go in there and I end up with almost nothing. A lot of times I'll cut it all the way through and just leave the tool in there because it literally separates itself. But I leave it in there and stop the lathe once it's separated. Well, not like that. Usually that stays right in there and I can get it. Yeah. It's when I try to show off like this. When I'm doing it without just doing it without thinking about it, without talking about it. It's different to doing it with a live audience in front of you. It really is. No. Okay, Tom. That's it. I'm not going to show you any more tricks. You know how many times I do that?
I know.
Put it up, and whether even on the drill press.
Oh boy. That's beautiful.
Well, except what I just did in there. Fill it up with sawdust.
Cold again.
Yeah, it sure is, Tom. It's a little rough on the inside, Tom, on this one. Anyway, it's your...
Oh, I didn't want you to do it for me.
Well, no, you did half of it, and so you can talk and tell your friends. Well, my friends, I gotta say, this was fun, and quite a challenging piece of you. The wood is remarkable. Finish is not bad. A little rough on the inside, but it's just for Tom. So, my friend Tom came to visit, and was a real pleasure between this and the wonderful, 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 I can't emphasize enough, Woodturning logo that will be my new YouTube channel icon. Well, Tom will take a little bit of remembrance. He brought this piece of you. He'll take it with him. He'll have plenty to talk about. Hey, I did this with Al. The famous Al.
I'd like to say something. We're going to put another addition on here. And we're going to... So Al can do live performances like this. You can't beat it.
Oh my God! This was an experience for sure.
Thank you so much,
doing
Al.
it again. What a
Thank you
pleasure!
so
What a
much.
pleasure! This was a treat. I thank you. Let's go inside because
Thank
I think
you.
your wife believes you moved in over here.
Oh, don't forget to take your camera.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you very soon.